Ancestry! The very thing that separates us from the lower animals. Well, that and taxidermy. Sorry, Friedrich.
Two of my favorite horror comedies of all time are The Addams Family and its sequel, Addams Family Values. Released in 1991 and 1993, these films were played to death in my house growing up. But I found even more value in them as an adult. This is because they are perfect blends of dark, macabre elements and humor. Paying tribute to both the original cartoons and the 1960 TV series, while each adding their own flair to the characters of the family. Which is largely due to the perfect casting. Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, and Christopher Lloyd, just to name a few of the incredible performers that brought these legendary characters to life. The movies were also both financial successes. As a result, a third film was scripted, with filming set to begin in 1994. But sadly, Raul Julia passed away before the project could be fully materialized. And so, without a patriarch to lead them, this live-action Addams Family series would come to an abrupt finish. But where one film series concluded, another would begin, attempting to fill the void left by this cancelled trilogy. What started out as a simple concept to resurrect the series for a new audience would lead to a film just as bizarre as the Addams Family themselves. A film that to this day has not been made available outside of its original VHS release. A film that would put a hiatus to any additional Addams Family feature films for the next 20 years. A film known as Addams Family Reunion. Believe it or not, the story behind this forgotten chapter of the Addams Family begins while the theatrical films were still being made. In the mid-90s, when the home video market began booming, different sets of rights were applied to properties that would be released straight to video. So essentially, one studio could own the rights to make the theatrical films of a brand, while another could own the rights to make exclusive home video releases of the same brand. This led to Power Rangers creator Chaim Saban seeing a golden opportunity, as he went around snapping up direct-to-home video entertainment rights of established film brands, the Addams Family being one of them. And even more to his favor, Paramount, who owned the rights to the Addams Family theatrical films, could do nothing about it. So Saban bided his time, and when Paramount decided not to continue their own Addams Family live-action series, he seized the opportunity, announcing he was partnering with Warner Brothers to start a new series of Addams Family live-action films and hopefully a TV series. Unlike the Paramount films, Warner wanted this new series to be aimed strictly at kids, with less of an emphasis on dark comedy and more on family-friendly humor.
Hey, who took my banana slug?
But they also wanted to appeal to fans of the Paramount films. So the film became a hodgepodge of different ideas and tones. It both tried to be different, but also tried to live in the shadow of its predecessors. As a result, several of the creative elements established in the Paramount films would be abandoned, with some of the character types being completely reimagined.
I have before me the ultimate authority on all matters of family ancestry. The complete and unabridged Book of Addams.
Gone was any trace of the Lothario portrayal of Gomez brought to life by Julia, replacing him with just a more eccentric, goofy version, played by Tim Curry.
Children, no matter how often you scream at them or how severely you punish them, they always beg for more.
Now, to be fair, Tim Curry's casting in this film is one of the bold moves that actually works. While it's impossible to fill the shoes of Julia, Tim Curry makes the character his own, and really does seem to have fun with the role. Plus, it's Tim Curry. He just makes everything better just by being there.
Oh, excuse me.
Showing. Oh! Look out.
Uncle Fester is also drastically different than he was portrayed previously. While Christopher Lloyd's Fester was reserved and shy, this Fester is just batshit insane.
What? I got your favorite flavor! Strawberry blonde!
A kind of mad scientist doing an exaggerated Curly Howard impression.
Oh, of course, yeah. You go inside to the left. Follow the narrow corridor.
All right.
Up the service elevator, down the hall, and then follow the green carpet to the third door on your left-hand side.
Daryl Hannah plays Morticia, and she's also doing her best here. But she really comes off as just doing an impersonation of Houston's Morticia.
He gets so car sick on these long trips.
We'll have to get him inside where it's cold and damp.
The kids are also pretty generic, feeling like watered-down versions of their charming yet menacing Paramount counterparts.
You weren't planning on taking us to this reunion, were you?
Come now, children. Aren't you excited about seeing your long-lost relatives?
I would rather douse myself with kerosene and light a match.
That's the spirit!
I will say one of the casting things this movie gets right is Lurch. Mainly because it's the same actor, Carol Strucken, from the other live-action films. Honestly, this guy just defines the way Lurch should look, and I'm at least glad we got to see him in the role again. Him and the hand-playing Thing are the only returning actors. There's some new characters also added to the mix, such as Gomez's parents, played by Estelle Harris and Kevin McCarthy. But it's so clearly obvious that they were hoping John Astin would play the latter part, because this Grandpa Addams is an exact clone of Astin's Gomez.
Here you are, you young devil, you. Your own personal Siberian firecracker.
The grandparent Addamses are suffering from something called Walzheimer's disease, a disease that is slowly turning them normal.
The horror. The horror!
So, as the title suggests, Gomez organizes a family reunion, hoping that some branch of his enormous family tree will know of a cure.
Maybe, just maybe, we have a talented witch doctor in the family!
My good man, now you're thinking!
But unfortunately, the company arranging the reunion misspells their surname, and reunites our Addams family with the Addams Family, spelled with one D instead of two.
You must be the distant relatives that just checked in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dolores, and I've just been dying to meet you.
Likewise, of course.
Dolores. What a beautiful name.
In Latin, it means pain and sorrow.
Naturally, hijinks ensue, and the Addams family are fish out of water. Honestly, I feel like this whole plot was just so they could film the movie somewhere cheap, as the majority of the movie takes place at a California country club. This way, they at least got to reserve some of the budget for the groundbreaking photorealistic CGI that this film is filled with.
It's kind of like Wednesday when you tell her to take a bath. Oh boy, look at the door!
Members of the Addams family all get their own little side plots. Fester goes around collecting hair to feed to his pet dog. Pugsley falls in love with a girl who, as far as he knows, would be his cousin. Grandmama hosts guests who got lost on their way to the reunion. Lurch saves people at the pool. And Thing tries to escape an exterminator played by Clint Howard. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. The producers were just throwing everything at the wall, hoping one of these ideas will stick. And none of them do. I will point out that Gomez's subplot is the only one that's actually enjoyable. he goes around competing against a family member played by Ed Begley Jr. And again, the only reason these segments remotely work is because it's Tim Curry, and he's just so fun to watch and is having so much fun in the role. The rest of this film is just as predictable as you'd expect. The family gets separated, and they all have to work together to stop the other Addams family, who it turns out are even more terrifying than our protagonists. Oh, and did I mention this film contains the worst ever rendition of the Addams Family theme song?
When people come to see them, they really are a scream. The Addams Family, they're neat, sweet, oh, they're so petite.
It should come as no surprise that this film was released to poor critical reception. As I said in the intro, it has never been released publicly outside of its original VHS release in 1998. And in the age of digital media, that is telling. The producers just couldn't decide what they wanted this movie to be. They wanted it to be different and wackier than the Paramount films, but then they also refused to ignore the elements that made those two films work so well. The result is a tonal mess of bad ideas that don't bring any justice to this famous family. But alas, Hollywood wasn't done with the Addams Family just yet, as the next chapter of this franchise was right around the corner.
Welcome to the Addams Family. How you do, the Addams Family? Come into the Addams Family now.
But that deserves its own video.